the final region we will be covering, or final region in the tournament, it is the Midwest. And I tell you, that Houston Gonzaga game, I was thinking about you the whole time, Raider Jim. It was a fantastic basketball game. I know you're going to talk all about it. Houston did take down Gonzaga in that second round game, 81-76. They will be facing off against Purdue, who took care of High Point and McNeese State. I really thought High Point was going to give Purdue a run for their money. They showed bits of it, but at the end, Purdue just too good. They will face off against Houston. And the 2-3 matchup, you have good old SEC foes, Kentucky and Tennessee. This is a chalk bracket. 1 through 4 seeds. This is where you are. Raider Jim, I'm going to give you first dibs here. Obviously, the Midwest, your thoughts.
Yeah, and again, congratulations to the Gonzaga Bulldogs. They won the West Coast Conference, which they weren't supposed to do, but they did. They went to, they got out of the first round again, and Coach Few is still just, Hall of Fame caliber. He's going to be there in no time. Went up against Coach Sampson from Houston. Good friends. He knew Coach Sampson when Sampson was at Washington State, Wazoo. And so they've known each other. They've got a history, and one of them, and I think it was Coach Sampson, made the comment afterwards, it's really too bad that they had to be matched up so early in the bracket. And he said, it's too bad that there can't be a 1A and a 1B. And he said that Gonzaga was definitely right there with them. Now, Gonzaga did not play the cleanest of first halves, and that's what bit them. And they could just never go back. You can't leave it down to the last shot against a team like Houston. You got to stick with them. You can't put yourself too far back. Gonzaga did, but they still came back. They got, now they lost by 5. The line on that game was Zags plus 4.5. So if you bet on that game, that wasn't a good ending, was it? But still, Gonzaga, congratulations to the boys for making it again. Houston, congratulations. They have a fantastic team. Running game, man. These boys can play ball both sides of the court. And I can't wait till they match up against Tennessee. And I'm going to go right to that game and tell you Tennessee's going to beat Houston when it comes right down to it. Now, I like Purdue, but I don't think Purdue has enough to take care of Houston. I think Houston's going to go ahead. They, not by any means was Gonzaga a walk in the park for Houston, but didn't get them too drained. Kentucky and Illinois. What a game that was. Kentucky's actually playing very, very good ball compared to what we were talking about last year at this time. Kentucky's really turned it around, as did Louisville this year. But Kentucky did, a 9-point victory over Illinois. And Illinois was playing good basketball, but Kentucky against Tennessee liked the way the Volunteers play basketball these days. So it's going to be coming down to Tennessee, Houston. Tennessee gets the nod.
Interesting. Yeah, the Gonzaga run was great. Obviously, that first game, as bad of a first half as y'all had against Houston, you had such a good first half against Georgia. It was you almost kind of felt bad for Georgia at some point. It's like, guys, I never did. No, I didn't either. But, you're just kind of watching again because that's score bug. Okay, the game starts, I'm watching whatever game's about to finish, and you just, okay. 8-0 run. 11-0 run. It's 18-4. It's 33-11. What is going on? And the Houston game, Houston gave Gonzaga every opportunity to just roll over and die, and they never did. They kept coming, fighting back, bloodied, battered, bones sticking out, and they just would not stop until the ref stepped in, essentially. And again, Mark Few, that is not surprising. It's a little unfortunate because, again, it's the almost polar opposite of the way San Diego State went out. Not to bring it back to me, but to bring it back to me, because it's a situation of Gonzaga probably should have been seated higher. They should have probably been a 6 or a 7. And who knows, maybe we're talking about them in this right now. But San Diego State was in and performed like they didn't deserve to, while Gonzaga looked at their 8 seed and said, all right, fine, and went out. And again, it wasn't fair probably, but they fought their tails off, just fell a little short. Incredible program that Gonzaga has been going. And it's going to be a very interesting transition to this newfangled Pac-12. That's a whole iceberg we haven't even really touched on yet, just because there's so many other like things that I don't even think a lot of people have realized, that the Pac-12 is kind of quasi coming back. I don't even know if I understand it fully, but anyways, fantastic run from them. Now, in terms of this kind of region right now, Tennessee is very, very impressive. Kai Ziegler is a guard that I don't think any team in the country, professional or college, would scoff at having run their backcourt. The toughness, the IQ, it's all off the charts. They are an incredible team. There's just something about this Kentucky team. I don't know. They're the antithesis of what we've seen from John Calipari's team. They finish. They're a heady basketball team. They don't make stupid mistakes late, which, again, I don't put a whole lot of credence on Cal, but does come down to coaching at some point. And I think a big part of it is these guys are veterans. And yeah, they're all transfers, and it's very different. And again, there are a lot of people that might not like it, but that's the climate. And Kentucky is still a brand. I think Lamont Butler coming in, and really bringing that San Diego State defense to things. I like Kentucky to take down Tennessee, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I like Kentucky to go all the way through. I think Kentucky's a Final Four team. I'm very impressed with all facets of what they do. They don't do one thing exceptionally, but they do everything very well. And again, Houston, I think there are a bit of chinks in the armor. Purdue, I picked High Point to beat Purdue, so you can kind of understand where my thought process is with Purdue. I think they got lucky with the McNeese matchup. Maybe that air got let out of the balloon with the student manager with the boom box and all that stuff. And then Tennessee, I think the big thing is the ability to have 72 hours going from the round of 32 to the round of 16, or the Sweet 16, I should say, because you didn't have that. You win your round of 64, and maybe you have to wait 3.5 hours to figure out who you're actually going to play.
Right.
In this situation, you have 3 days, you have your advanced scouts. There is an operation that is being put forward. And I do think sometimes the Sweet 16 teams that win might not necessarily be the most talented, but they're the better coached. And with all due respect to Rick Barnes, I've been very, very impressed with Mark Pope. And a funny little nugget as well. So obviously, kind of the crazy coaching carousel got started with Coach Cal going from Kentucky to Arkansas. And then that domino got Pope from BYU to Kentucky. And then obviously BYU had to hire their coach. All 3 of those teams are in the Sweet 16. So everyone's happy. I love it when a story ends well. But the Midwest, I don't know. There's just something about this Kentucky team. And maybe they lose by 20 on Thursday. And I just have, I'm calling the editor saying, I need you to scrub that part. I need you to cut it all out. But I don't know. I'm entranced. I've drank the Kool-Aid on Kentucky, and I'm just hoping all that is promised is truly coming.